All right. Oh, dude, I was checking out the fullmeter.com online for the online FAT, and that's what that is that you see right there. I was looking at the characters there. Back to the match here. Oh, shout outs to Scott Adventure for the follow. All right, so let's continue forward here. This is Ange time with Ryu going up against a Chun-Li player. I'm just gonna call him Mustard. It's not. It's the name apparently is Fried Mustard, so I'll just call him Mustard. Well, here we go. So the few things that we've learned about this about Ange time. Oh, Scott, he's using the terrible blonde Chun-Li. But the few things that we've learned, very decent player. Nothing really, anything that I feel like is like particularly bad habits or anything. Maybe just bad anti-air, no anti-air reactions and stuff such as like that. But I feel like, he's on the right track. He's definitely on the right track, understands distances pretty well, understands what to do. Just needs to get more setups in his game and just like optimization of what he's trying to do. So let's go ahead and get through this match here.
One. Fight.
Oh, wait. You guys want to watch the match first, right? You guys want to watch the match first before I actually analyze it, correct? Let's go ahead and do that. All right, we have Fried Mustard on the left versus Ange Time on the right. Wow, just jumps in right away, but a little too far for that combo to connect. Not going to be able to get that nice punish, nice hit with the sweep. Tries to go in, but looks like Fried Mustard. Oh, God, the sweep there, but could have done so much more to punish that. And now the stand fierce from Chun-Li. Okay, good stuff. Wake up, EX Bird Kick to get him off of him. And wow, quick V-trigger activation. Catches with the overhead. Optimizes the combo. Goes right in there with that towards roundhouse. Looks like gonna back off and save that V-trigger. Not gonna push too hard with it. Okay. Now V-trigger's out. And here we go. Huge opportunity now for Ange. Gets in there with the combo. Good damage. Good punish there. Oh, keeping out Mustard. Mustard trying to get in there. And then a beautiful jump from Ange. And he's gonna be able to take round number 1.
Round 2. Fight.
All right. Wow, let's just go right in with the V skill. Try to go right in there. Slowly, okay, beautiful EX Fireball, pushes her back, knocks her down. I'm not sure what the background house there was for from Mustard. And Mustard trying to get in there, and Ange doing a good job keeping him out, but got caught by the surprise jump. Oh, that had to have been a missed air lightning legs. Yeah, there we go. There's the air lightning legs. And then the stand roundhouse. And jump in, beautiful anti-air, got the cross under, but drops the combo. But oh, Season 2 buff, gonna save herself, and gets with the overhead again. The same thing that happened that first round and same sequence right there, that towards roundhouse on his wake up. And now it looks like Mustard backs off a little bit, gets hit by the crouching medium kick, but nothing from Ange Time. No conversions off of that. Oh, what the heck? He just did it. He just did it. Mustard just did it. He just did it, and there it is. And as Chick Hearn would say, the Mustard's off the hot dog. Mustard takes the second round, so we're tied 1-1 here. Oh, God, hit by that fireball, trying to get in there. Mustard trying to be very aggressive right now. Gets the jump in, but no anti-air from Ange. And there's that stand fierce again. That stand fierce is so good. It's, oh, nice. EX bird kick right through the block string. Oh, beautiful dash under, and he's going to cancel the V-trigger. Yeah, keep himself safe. All right, knockdown, but, oh, Ange not doing anything, just kind of staring at him. Okay, I like the background house. Good anti-air. Gets the cross up. Oh, looks like he tried to go up for the throw that time. Ooh, not gonna get hit by the overhead now. EX Fireball to meet Mustard. Anti-air light punch is gonna work. That's gotta be punished. There it is. Probably could have been more. Oh no, she went for the bird kick afterwards. Gets the throw. Still a chance now for Ange. What's gonna happen? Ange tries to jump in, gets the jump in, but nothing. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That had to have been an EX Fireball. That had to be an EX Fireball, but unfortunately came out as an EX Uppercut, and that is an unfortunate way to get taken out in that situation. Oh man, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. That's one that you just gotta walk away with and hold and try to forget in the next round of the tournament. All right, so that's the match right there. Let's go ahead and analyze this. Let's go ahead and watch what happens here. But, I can already see that a lot of people here on talking in the chat, you know, that you know, the Chun was really good, knew what she was doing, and yet Ange was really close in both of the rounds. So I really, honestly, again, I don't feel like Ange did anything in particular wrong. I felt like he played really solidly. So let's watch this here.
Round 1.
Okay, round 1. This starts with a hard read, if I'm not mistaken. He just went for it and said, you know what, I'm going to jump at you. You're going to throw a fireball. This is just something you do. But what I want to point out, though, is that I really do like the fact that Ange is varying it up. We've seen him backdash. We've seen him neutral jump. We've seen him forward jump at the beginning of rounds. I like that he forward jumped here, kind of predicting that this Chun-Li was going to throw a fireball, so he has a good start here. But he doesn't know what his initial combo is. He's very, very much right now married to jump roundhouse, stand medium punch into fireball. Or jump attack, medium punch, fireball. He definitely likes that combo a lot. So I would go into the lab and find better combos at ranges that work like that. So go to the lab, find out at the very beginning of the round if you jump at Chun-Li, see if you can do jump attack, stand medium punch, crouching medium kick into Tatsu, or something like that. So that's fine. And at the beginning of the round, yeah, someone's saying that it's a gamble. And yeah, it's a gamble, but it's a good gamble. Because if you're right, you get a crap ton of damage. And if you're wrong, Chun-Li may light kick you out of the air. She may dash back and nothing happens. If it's Ryu or Ken, you may get uppercut. It's a decent thing to show the opponent. But now, again, key moment, beginning of the round, you jumped. And now they're scared to throw a fireball, so in round 2, maybe next time you dash forward. You know, it's that kind of thing. You're always weaving this narrative. Every time you run into those key moments, you have to remember what happened at the last time these key moments happened. And again, that's really hard to do, and I don't blame anyone for not being able to do that consistently, because it's one of the hardest things to do. But if you can remember all those key moments, and guys like, trust me that players like Justin Wong are noticing. They are remembering what happens in those key moments, and that is why that they are going to beat most players. It's why a lot of times that in the first round they look vulnerable, but then by the time they get to round 4 or 5, they look darn near psychic. Is because they've already woven the narrative through multiple rounds to the point where they can almost just basically, with 90% certainty, predict what intermediate players are going to do. So here we go. Misses that combo, blocks the sweep. Oh, no punish. Again, like I said at the very start, if you're not expecting your opponent to sweep like that at punishable ranges, then you're just like, oops, I didn't punish it. Whatever, move on. It's okay. It's okay. Just remember to yourself, next time I'll remember to punish that. So that was nice. That little whiff punish on that sweep was nice. It wasn't even a whiff punish, I don't even think he caught her in the recovery, but it was a nice situation, because after those 2 whiffs, might have been, I mean, it probably was a panic button from Ange, but, you know, in that situation, the reason why it hit is because you saw the 2 whiffs, and then Chun-Li was like, oh, I need to walk forward to hit with this, so she probably started walking forward. So, you know, it's understanding what your opponent tendencies, habits, what human nature causes people to do. So after 2 whiffs, someone's going to be like, oh shoot, this is not working, let me change it up. And that's why that sweep works. So that's why some top players will sweep in those situations. If that is what Ange wanted to do, if that was what he was gathering, that's great. That's great. Dashes up, goes for the attack. Ooh, out prioritizes the crouching light punch. Do you see that? I had that on just the perfect freeze frame. Out prioritizes the crouch light punch, gets the combo. Okay, now the Chun-Li. Sweep again. Sweep again. So now this is something that you have to be aware that this Chun-Li is willing to do, is to try to sweep. He didn't punish it a second time. But like I said, I will always give everyone the benefit of the doubt the first few times, because it's hard. At the highest level, yeah, you should be punishing that right away. But that's once you get to the point where you've seen 90 Chun-Li sweeps blocked, and you just automatically know what your reaction is. Like Cammy, for example, every time I block a sweep, like low forward drill, if I'm ready for it, I will low forward drill. I just know what the punish is. So no worries there, though, that he missed it. What, did she just come in with crouching fierce? Again, that's one of those situations you're just going to get hit by that, and you're like, what the hell? Oh, God, that standing fierce. But then he went for another sweep. That was really interesting. That was a strange call. to be honest, on that one. I'm not sure where the sweep came from after getting hit by 2 fierces. Like, I'd be terrified to death of hitting buttons. It worked out in his case. If he had the read that after 2 fierces, the opponent was hoping he'd shut down, and so that's why the Chun-Li dashed forward. That's great. But again, in that kind of situation, you got the hit. I'm not sure it's necessarily the best idea, but since you got the crouch counter sweep, let's see what your setup is afterwards. Not really much. He just went for a standard meaty, so he didn't really have much of a setup. And again, that's something I would work on if I was Ange. If I got a crush counter sweep, find the good setups in there. And I don't know the setups offhand, but I'm sure that if you just went online and asked or looked for good Ryu crush counter setups, you'll probably find some safe jumps and stuff like that against Chun-Li. So the Chun-Li decides to wake up EX bird kick. That's fine. Test them. Test to see if the Chun-Lis are willing to do that at the beginning. Alright, wake up EX fireball. Interesting. Let me read that situation again. Okay, it was at a range where that EX fireball, I can see it. I don't mind that, and I think it's kind of a neat monkey wrench plan. Just wake up with an EX fireball and try to catch them, because you're at a range where none of your buttons were particularly strong. So EX fireball could definitely catch them off guard. Thank you. Thanks to the chat. Okay, let's keep going. Goes in there and blocks. Now, this is one of those situations where this is character knowledge, right? If you're fighting against a Chun-Li, don't stand block all the time after they activate V-Trigger, but understand that when Chun-Li's activate V-Trigger, that the offensive crouch medium kick is a very good option because it's safe on block. It's -2, but on hit, you can get gobs of damage. So it's just something that you're just going to have to be aware of play, but now the thing about it is, you don't have to react to this offensive crouch medium kick blindly. If you see Chun-Li activate V-Trigger, that becomes one of the moves that you put in your head. So even though it's not this is the move, this is offensive crouch medium kick, even though you're not like staring at it like, oh, okay, crouching medium kick. Offensive crouch medium kick. What you're doing is you're putting it over here. It's in your peripheral vision. You can kind of see it over there. So as soon as you see that move animation, you're like, oh wait, I remember I had this over here. I'm thinking about it. And so you can react to it much faster. So when people are especially when they activate V-Trigger, people want to land certain things. This is one of those moves. You have to keep it in your mind. And Ange is definitely does not have that in his mind right there. And he just goes for it and gets hit. It's a very reactable move. That is a very, very reactable move. You can see it as long as you keep it in your brain and block it in time. But look how much damage he's going to eat now. Okay, so he almost lost, he lost two-fifths of whatever remaining life that he had. So that's a big punishment for getting caught by that, and that's why Chun-Li's like to go for that. The reason why I point this out is because I think he gets hit by it again later on, and that's why I recognize this as a pattern, because I know he got hit by it later on as well. And then Chun-Li goes for this towards roundhouse, little setup here. Okay, challenge from Ange, it's fine. And he backs off, and I probably was a missed fireball, probably was trying to throw a fireball, not standing fierce. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just throwing whiffing standing fierces, the fake fireballs, which is not exactly the greatest idea. But there you go. Maybe it was 2 execution errors. Not sure. Okay, tries to dash in there, gets caught by Kukoken, gets the jump in. Nice. I like that. Had good damage there, but you'll notice there was one mistake. One big mistake, even though that connected. Look down here in this corner here. Ryu had V-Trigger. He had V-Trigger. So because he had the V-Trigger, he could have did way more damage. This is one of those situations right here where when you've jumped at them, you should always take a moment to assess your resources. And based on what resources you have, you should already know what your combo is for that. So with your character, make sure you know what the best combo to do is if you have 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, 1 meter and a full V trigger, 2 meters and a full V trigger, 3 meters and a full V trigger. Determine how much you feel like spending and knowing how to maximize the damage of your combo. In this particular situation, when he landed the cross up, it might have been better to do like cross up, like fierce or strong into V trigger, or a cross up, standing roundhouse V trigger, roundhouse light kick into EX Tatsu or something, or EX uppercut or something like that. So so Freestyle Skill says he needs the lab on combos. Yeah, and that's absolutely true, but he only needs the lab on combos right now because he's actually in a place where he's good enough that that becomes a concern. If you're a beginner, like if we were watching this and I could tell that they were beginners, I would not be harping on this at all. I would not be talking about this at all, because right now, as a beginner, optimizing your combos is not what you should be worrying about. You should be worrying about understanding distancing, understanding to play the 2-player game, and understanding how a match flows. Optimizing your combo is not important, but at the point that Ange is at right now, where he is an intermediate player, he's obviously good. He obviously knows what to do. Now is the time to sit down and optimize your combos and figure out the right thing to do. So I do agree exactly what with Freestyle said in the chat. Yes, he needs to lab on these combos, but that's only because he's reached that level where where it's actually beneficial for him to lab these combos. But in this particular situation, he could have gotten a lot more damage than he did. But every time, look at your resources. You get knocked down, look at your resources. You're in neutral, nothing's happening, look at your resources really quick. Just keep doing that. Like, if you watch, there was that one video that actually tracked Sako's eye movement to see where he's looking at the screen. And you'll see it. He glances down at his meter a bunch of times. It's a really cool video. I don't know where to find it, otherwise I would link it in the chat. But it's a really cool video. You can actually see Sako's eyes move to meter, then the opponent's meter, then his the meter, and the opponent's meter, like every once in a while. You have to assess these things, so by the time you've already jumped and hoping that you can land a jump attack, you already know what your optimized combo is. So in this situation where he did jump and sees the Kokoken, he doesn't even have to be like, oh shoot, I'm landing this combo. How much meter do I have? Oh, I have a V trigger. What combo should I do? That's gonna make you drop your combo. It's 100% gonna make you drop your combo. But if you already ahead of time you jump, you're like, I have V trigger, so the next time I hit him, I'm gonna do this V trigger combo, and I have 1 bar, so I already know what combo I'm gonna do. Jump, and then right there, this combo will land smooth as butter, pretty much. So good stuff right there. It gets the good damage, but I don't know if he could have killed, but he could have been very, very close to killing at this point in time. Alright, but the Chinese gets in there. Okay, nice! Just down to a little bit of life and then gets the jump kick. Boom, there you go. So that was a nice read on the fireball again. So twice now he's gotten the fireball read here. And he's gotten the jump kick. So that was 3 times he jumped over a fireball in this game. So because that was the 3rd time he jumped over a fireball, was able to kick the Chun-Li in the head, and especially because the 3rd time he did it, it killed the Chun-Li. Now as the Ryu player, if I was Ange, I would be thinking to myself, okay, maybe Mustard didn't really process it at the beginning of the round when I jumped in because it was luck. Maybe the 2nd time when I jumped over and comboed it, he's just like, okay, good guess. But the 3rd time it's happened now, especially because it killed, I'm going to guess that until Mustard proves me wrong, that he's going to be scared to throw fireballs now. Now he's going to be trying to bait me to jump. So I would expect in the next round less fireballs. That's my assessment. I could be wrong, and that's perfectly fine. The main point is that that's kind of an assessment that you make. I killed him by jumping over a fireball. That's the 3rd time I did that this round. He's probably going to be scared to throw fireballs, and then if he turns out that he isn't scared to throw fireballs, you're like, this guy's a nut. And then you just keep playing and jumping over fireballs and blowing them up. So there you go.
Round 2.
Oh, some people putting the Sako eye movement up there. Okay, cool. But here we go, round 2.
Fight.
Okay, so the Chun-Li goes in right away, missed the jump attack, Caught everyone by surprise, and then in a panic situation, low forward fireball, 1 out over the button that Ange pressed. Again, scramble situation. Scramble situations largely are 50-50 when both people panic and hit buttons at the same time. So no fault on Ange's part. He was trying to back off at the beginning of the round, wasn't in range to anti-air the V skill. So that kind of stuff happens. That's how that's how people take damage in Street Fighter, is scramble situations like this. Oh, he tried to jump and the roundhouse just caught him out of the air. That's actually really good from Mustard, actually. So nice stand roundhouse on Mustard's part there. But he got hit, so now Ange is going, crap, okay, I can't seem to advance forward by jumping, so I'm going to throw fireballs and try to bait the opponent into doing stuff. Okay, so Ange just threw a fireball. I'm sorry, Mustard just threw a fireball. So my assessment might be wrong, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay, I like, again, so Ange has some good EX fireball timing. So I just like that. I don't know what it is. It's a nice, odd timing to throw it and unexpected timing to put it, especially if you had the read that Mustard was being very aggressive. So in that situation there, he threw it out, and sure enough, Mustard hit a standing fierce and it knocks her down, and I like that Ange then immediately dashes up and chases her down. Look at all those dashes, then goes for the crouching medium kick. Okay, that's fine, that's good. Not sure what that standing fierce was, might have been a mistake, and then I don't know what the back roundhouse was from Chun-Li. Might have been a mistake. Any case, scramble situation, Ryu's crouching medium punch hits. Goes back to the fireball. And now, so here's the thing, right? The reason why I like what Ange is doing here right now. See how he walked up after the stand fierce and then he poked with the standing medium kick? The reason why I like that is if I made that assessment that Chun-Li's going to throw less fireballs, that's what I would do. That's the kind of thing that I would try to do, because fireballs are to control that space in front of you. And if you predict that they're not going to throw as many fireballs, that opens up that area in the footsies in right in front of your face. So I like that Ange is being a little aggressive here. Again, not 100% sure that that's the reads. I can't predict what anybody's thinking. But that's how I assess, that's how I evaluate the situation here. Alright, so blocking those stand fierce. He just went up for a sweep and then just got caught on the other side. Interesting try there. Not sure why the sweep, but because I felt like he was in a really kind of good, positive situation in the footsies. I don't feel like he needed to go for kind of a crazy Hail Mary sweep like that. It's different in Street Fighter 5. In Street Fighter 4, yeah, if you're not Ryu, go for it with a lot of characters. But in this game, since all the sweeps are punishable, it's a little riskier. Sweeps are always a little dodgy for me, but you can throw them out every once in a while, especially since the opponent doesn't have like a full critical art to blow you up or something like that. So going for a sweep in there, I don't like it, but I don't hate it. Okay, that's what I'll say right there. And gets walked up and throw. Okay, this is interesting right here. This is interesting. Now, at intermediate levels, I really want to talk about this, because the first time I watched this video, as soon as I saw the Chun-Li do that, that's a huge error. That's one of those errors that like sends signals, alerts into your brain, right? So you're like, okay, so she just jumped medium kicked way up there, and then I punish her and I start hitting her. Now, immediately what my brain says is, why the hell did she do that? And the answer is going to be probably instant air legs. Now, at intermediate levels, and everybody does this. I'm looking at everybody in the chat right now. Everybody does this. When you mess something up, you want to try it again. Everybody does this, and in fact, it is probably the one situation that gets so many people killed. So if I was Ange right now, I would be like, he meant to air legs. Let's look for the next air legs, and I'm going to blow him up for doing it. Voila. And keep in mind, yes, I've seen this before, so I knew she was going to do it again. But even the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, she's going to air legs again. 100% she's going to air legs again. And she did. And it would have been nice to have an uppercut ready for it, you know, in that kind of situation. So, okay, so here we go with the pressure. Keeps with the pressure. I like the standing roundhouse uses from Mustard. I really like that. That's something that's going to lock Ryu down. So if I was Ryu, I would probably go into like crouching medium kicks and stuff like that to try to combat that a little bit. Okay, Ange, we already know, is not great at anti-airing, but this Chun-Li hasn't jumped that much, so I'm not, and it was at that weird ambiguous range again, where if she didn't hit a button, the uppercut would have whiffed, so not going to blame him, but I like the fireball on the ground afterwards just to gain the momentum. And if I'm not mistaken, that was an EX fireball, right? Yeah, EX fireball, which Ryu is now +2 on, so that's actually really good. So he jumps in there, good anti-air, and this is again just character knowledge. Whenever Chun-Li's anti-air you would stand light kick, get ready for the dash under. We all get hit by it though because it's just a hard guess. He does dash under, but see how early he dashed under? If you know that that's something that Chun-Li's like to do, I have to be worried about dash under. That's what I would think. As soon as I got hit by that, I have to worry about dash under. And she dashed under really fast. So I would have blocked the other way. Now, that was maybe so fast that Chun-Li could have walked back to the same side and then I would have gotten hit. That's fine, but you know, this is the mix-up. But this, I would like to see the controllers. I would like to see the inputs to see if he was ready for this or not or whatever, so. But the Chun-Li missed the combo, dropped the combo, saves herself. Goes and attacks. He tried to challenge, and now he's trying to V-reversal so that he can get himself, get her off of him. But here we go. I was just about to say. Activates V-trigger. Okay, so again, what's the move that you got to look out for? What's the move that Chun-Li's are going to toss out? It's the offensive crouch medium kick, right? There you go. He did it. And Ange was not ready for it a second time here. So again, just keep in mind what people want to do when they activate V-trigger because it's very important. And again, loses over half his life, over half of the remaining life that he has there because he didn't block that. So that now puts Mustard in a great position to take this round here. Okay, tries the V reversal again because he really wants to get the momentum back on his side. Neutral jump, that's a common defensive tactic when you're kind of in a desperation situation, but it's really hard to stop it, so it's a good desperation tactic. It's an effective desperation tactic, and I do not mind it at all. Okay, so he throws the EX Fireball there. Again, I like his timing on EX Fireball. If you notice, Ange's success on EX Fireball has been really strong. And this is definitely not the situation of a false success. These are true successes. He's throwing them at really good timings, and they're winning. So I like his EX Fireball timing. It's a very valuable tool for him, and it's something that he probably needs to latch onto a little bit, but not too much. Be careful with your meter management. So he dashes up, goes for a crouching medium kick, meaty, gets the counter hit. We talked about this last week, where the Kami player that we analyzed would do meaty standing fierce. That doesn't lead to anything. Same thing goes with meaty crouching medium kicks. Not going to lead to anything. So find a better button to meaty with. Crouching medium punch. Standing medium punch. Don't do meaty crouching medium kicks. And maybe he was trying to do crouching medium kick in a fireball. That's still not a good meaty attack. Try to find something else that's better than that. In any case, hits him with the crouching medium kick, gets nothing afterwards, goes for the standing light kick pressure. Crouching light kick, gets counter poked, happens. Okay, scramble situation here. This is fine. Now, crouching medium kick in. Oh god, that's right. That's how this round ended. Oh, okay. He just did it. He just did it. And honestly, dude, there's nothing you can do about that. There is nothing you can do about that. We're all going to get hit by that at one point in time. In fact, we've all been hit by that at one point or another. That's one of those ones that you just go, God, stupid move, and I lost the round, and of course she's going to do that. Because it's the end of the round, it's safe, it's fast, and you lose and you put it behind you and you move on and forget it. Just forget it. But same situation as in that Ibuki match. Just know that it's something she's willing to try to do. That's all you have to remember. It's something that she's willing to do. So, And just keep that in mind when they have meter in that range. Play a little more defensive, stand up and walk backwards. Walk out of range of it. That's going to be your best way to defend against that. If you're in that range, if you find yourself in that range, right here, and you're scared of EX bird kick, you really think that she's going to do that, walk backwards, because it's not going to hit you low. It's not going to hit you low. Walk backwards out of range just to get to a point where you are always going to, that way if she pulls it out, you're going to block it. God, the salt. Like that's like one of those ones that if I get hit by it, I would go online and just be like, God, so it just happens. It just happens. Move on, move on. Yeah, except in the case of someone like Urian, if he EX tackles you, you get hit and he's like, Aegis Reflector. And then all of a sudden, pow, poo, pow, poo, pow, pow, ooh, pow, dash under, reset, dash under, pow, pow, Aegis Reflector, pow, poo, dizzy, boom. Okay, hit you, jump kick, bomb into super, you dead. So that's the difference. Oh, actually, he might have built the meter in that time, but you know, God. Yeah, Balrog EX low, the same thing. I'm walking a screen away. Ah, boom, in the skit, and the punch, 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 and then dead. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it works. So, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Final round. Fight.
Okay, he jumped at the beginning of the round again, maybe predicting another fireball. She did spinning bird kick. If you're Ange, you're just like, I don't know why you spinning bird kick, but whatever. Oh, and he actually punishes it in time. Okay, good stuff to him. And now he went for a Tatsu. Maybe trying to predict the fireball again and trying to Tatsu the fireball. Interesting. He hasn't done that yet, but it's an interesting option there. It's an interesting option. But kind of a scramble situation. She gets caught by that. Doing a good job. So what you should notice from this kind of situation here is that why are you not rewinding again? Why back arrow key you are not rewinding? Okay, it's decided to stop working. Alright. So in this situation here, let me go back even further. Okay. Chun-Li got hit, Chun-Li got hit. She dashes forward. So now she got hit by two random things and now she's dashing forward. My read is that she's getting really aggressive and she's really trying to get in. So as Ryu, even though I dash forward here, I would try to back up a little bit, play a little more defensive, and see if I could get the Chun-Li to hang themselves by hitting buttons and stuff, because she really wants to get in. And maybe I would play a little bit more of the fireball game. Ange, in this situation, decides to dash forward. That's fine. That happens, because after two straight hits, sometimes they may go on the defense. So he dashes, she dashes, but now that's my read that, oh, okay, she's kind of in an aggressive mode right now. And see, she walks forward, she jumps now. So she is definitely in aggressive mode right now. She is in, I need to get in, I really want offense mode here. No uppercut, no anti-air. But, you know, again, she hasn't jumped a lot, but she has a very floaty jump. So, you know, that's just practicing your anti-air reactions. That's just, you know, expectation versus reaction. I probably would have blocked that there too because I'm terrible at anti-airs. But stronger players than me probably would have been expecting that jump and get the anti-air in that situation. Timeless GFX asks, can I subscribe with Twitch Prime in the iOS app? I have no idea. Actually, I've never tried. I think you have to do it on the webpage. So. Okay, so now she's in. He's going to take a little bit of damage because he didn't anti-air. And then that fierce. So she's really good at hitting fierce and roundhouse in those situations. But last time she hit fierce, she fierced again. So again, she's fiercing again. She fierces another time. But again, nice EX fireball timing from Ange to blow that up. So, you know, I definitely think that's one of his strengths right now. But I'm not saying that as in you should start throwing more EX fireballs. Just keep doing what you're doing with the EX fireballs. It's a good thing. It's a good fallback that he goes to a lot in these situations that's been paying off really well. And he really hasn't ever been punished for throwing an EX fireball yet. So I feel like this is definitely, he's good at the timing on that. Dashes up and attacks, crouching medium kick, meaty, and goes into fireball. So that's probably what he tried last time. But again, I don't like that meaty attack. I'd rather see standing medium punch or whatever like that. And then this Chun-Li, I don't know if he was trying to do this, the EX bird kick through the fireball, but if he was, you know, more power to you, because that's an awesome read, and that's an awesome block on the initial one. He might have tried to did it earlier and then accidentally blocked before he bird kicked, and then the bird kick came out through negative edge. I don't know what happened, but that's just one of those situations where you're the Ryu player, you're like, ooh. And that's all you do. You're like, ooh. But honestly, I would have did standing medium punch instead and not committing to the fireball. So that wouldn't have happened had I been using Ryu. I would have went for standing medium punch meaty instead. And yeah, okay, one thing I do want to mention, a lot of people in the chat have been talking about this, and I haven't really been mentioning it, but there is the problem of playing online as well. That makes things hard to react to and all this stuff like that. But online is about building knowledge, building stuff. So like in that situation, I would learn that, okay, medium kick and a fireball is not a true block string in that situation. So Chun-Li can definitely EX bird kick through that. Online is different. It's hard to do a lot of the things that I'm talking about when you're playing online. However, that shouldn't necessarily stop you from understanding it or appreciating it. Or understanding why things work or how things work. The reaction is going to be harder to react to jumps. It's going to be harder to react to forward dashes. It's going to be harder to react to a lot of those things. But, you know, you got to come with that understanding. When you play the online matches, it has to come with that understanding that, yes, these problems are going to happen. So these little things are going to happen with online matches. But don't use that as an excuse. You have to evaluate when you're really like, dang it, that was online, between, no, I'm just stupid because I'm not uppercutting the jump. Like, that's me. When people jump at me, I'm just stupid because I'm not uppercutting the jump. I don't want to blame the online because literally I know in my brain I wasn't thinking about them jumping. So when they jump at me, I know in my brain I'm like, oh shoot, he jumped, block. And then that's when I get mad at myself, even though it is online. Unless it's teleporting. If it's teleporting, then screw it. That's not even playable. But I mean, like, if it's legit, like, it doesn't feel bad, maybe a little extra lag and they jump and you're caught by surprise and you end up blocking it. Even though, yes, online makes it harder to react with the uppercut, you still have to recognize that offline you weren't going to uppercut that jump anyway, whether or not it was online lag or not, or if you played offline. So that's really important to know. Okay, let's go back here. Nice neutral jump again, jumps over, but beautiful dash under. Okay, I like that. Ange definitely likes to use V reversals, and I respect that. He hasn't had a lot of V trigger combos. So he seems to use it mostly for V reversals and for sweep into V trigger. But again, he gets the knockdown. He doesn't really do much off of it. I know it knocks him super far back now. So there's really not much. But I probably would have dashed forward and tried to be a little bit more aggressive. But instead he does nothing. Jumps back. Tries to fake a fireball. I like that. Fakes a fireball, walks forward to jump range so he can uppercut maybe. Or maybe he was waiting to back roundhouse. So, see, that's the interesting thing. See, it's funny because when I saw this jump back here like this, he was probably trying to bait Chun to jump, right? Because he was already thinking anti-air. I want you to see this situation here. Because he was already thinking anti-air by jumping back and then walking forward, he's trying to get the Chun-Li to jump over a fireball. He jumped back and walked forward. So the last thing that was in his mind was, I want to anti-air this Chun. She didn't jump, but then she V-skills. But you notice what happens? He immediately back roundhouses. That's because the last thing that was in his brain was anti-air. So it was really hard to catch him by surprise in that situation because that's kind of like, you can almost see the after image of anti-airing in his brain. Like, there's a little bit of like a after image in his head, and as soon as she V-skilled, it just got bright again. It's like that peripheral vision that I was talking about. He was going like, I'm gonna anti-air, oh wait, she didn't jump, oh V-skill! And like it was already there and he was able to recall it easier. So again, a lot of times Street Fighter is about strengthening your recall ability more so than actually being able to execute things properly. So that's why he was able to anti-air there, because he was already thinking anti-air. Alright, so doesn't have a real setup off of that situation, but goes for the meaty punches. Gets the cross up. Okay, he did go for the throw. So I like the situation here. He did medium punch, he didn't bite. This time he does medium punch, and he walks forward. He probably was trying to throw. So he tried to change the narrative, but the Chun-Li didn't believe it, or she just decided to jab this time. Again, that's a scramble situation. That's a mix-up situation. It's a 50-50. One of you is going to be right. One of you is going to be right. This time it was Chun-Li. Can't be mad at yourself. Can't be mad at yourself. You just have to always look at that situation, always look at that narrative, and do your best to predict what it is that they're going to do in that situation right there. Oh, nice combo. Okay, and then, of course, she had her V-trigger activated. So what's she going to do? As soon as she has the opportunity, overhead. Now, it was very fortunate that he just happened to throw the EX Fireball, or maybe not, because, like I said, his EX Fireball timing has been really strong so far. So he manages to knock her down. The life lead, meaty, low forward Fireball again. The problem, like I said, the reason why I don't like that meaty as well is you don't get any pressure off of it. Sure, if she blocks it and you don't get hit and you're safe, but you just get nothing off of it. After you do meaty, low forward Fireball, nothing happens. You're back into a neutral situation. You're back into a resetted situation. You don't get to press your advantage. So that's another tip that I would give to Ange right now is lighten up on meaty, low forward into medium, crouching, medium kick into Fireball. Okay, so went for the throw again that time, and she teched it that time. So, yeah, it's mix-up situations. Sometimes they have the right reaction. Oh, the standing light punch worked. Wow. Dang, she was really above his head. How did that hit? She did jump roundhouse. Holy crap. I thought they nerfed these things. But it worked. It worked. Okay, so counter light punch there. He tried to do a meaty Fireball, which I determined yesterday I'm going to start calling meatballs. He tried to do a meatball right there, and then it didn't work out. She jabbed him. Here we go. Oh, big punish time. I mean, if anything, like sweep to get some advantage, or stand medium punch into Tatsu. Oh, so he just goes into Fireball. So the problem is, right now, another piece of advice to Ange is that his brain is so focused on always comboing into Fireballs. Now is the time to start putting in combos into Tatsu into your brain. Combo into Tatsu would have worked there, would have gotten more damage, it would have kept him in the pressure situation. So Ange needs to start working on the muscles to start going into Tatsus instead. And one of the ways to do that is as soon as you hit stand strong, just immediately think, you know, like, just already have it in your brain. And again, as you keep playing it, the recall will be faster. You're going to get better punishes that way. You're going to get better punishes that way. Okay, caught off guard, that's fine. We already saw at the end of the last round he was willing to do that. So she just goes for it again, doesn't hit. And then she goes for the EX bird kick. I mean, that's a frustrating situation. Like, the first time I was watching this match, just based on the flow, I felt like she was going to do the EX bird kick, so I might have blocked in that situation. Again, it's a 50-50. It's really, this is one of those situations, like I said, one of you guys is going to be right, and the other one's going to be wrong. And in this particular situation, the Chun-Li was right and got him with the EX bird kick. So that happens, and you're like, you really did that? Okay, whatever. Get him, get him. Okay, gets thrown here, but now we're in that. Ooh. Didn't kill? Oh my god. Now that's the fault of the Chun-Li. Didn't confirm off of this. Missed it. Knockdown. And then gets the jump attack. Nothing. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you're kind of reset into the situation. And that is gotta be an execution error. He's been so good about throwing those EX fireballs, but when you're walking back and forth and you just have a slip up of execution. Oh, God.
Chun-Li wins.
But what I will say here in this situation again is that I don't feel like he was playing particularly bad. I don't think he was doing anything wrong. That execution error is just one of those situations where you're like, If that didn't come out that way, he didn't touch a button. Mustard didn't touch a button, so he wouldn't have gotten hit by the EX Fireball, but there could have been a completely different outcome. So in that situation, when you lose in that one, you can't, yeah, you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad salty because you're like, I threw the gun, damn it, I just, like, it's just going to be saltiness, but like, yeah, be salty about it. Be mad that your execution was bad, but don't walk away from that match thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why am I playing so badly? Like, that was a great match. That was a very even match. The two players matched up very well. There was a few small things. He left some damage on the table because he's always going to Fireball instead of Tatsu, which also keeps him in a pressure situation. But then also that execution error, yeah, that's just, you got to hold that and you got to move on. And it is, yeah, it's heartbreak. It is heartbreak, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to deal with. So, but there you go. So, in that situation, Kingzar, I haven't seen a lot of mashed uppercuts from him. So I would give Ange the benefit of the doubt that I definitely do not think that that was a mashed uppercut in that situation. I do not think that was an uppercut in that situation. So I've got one more match. I'm going to go through this one last match. But before I do that, I'm going to take a break. And then we'll go over Ange's last match here, analyze that a little bit more. But again, what's important, what's different between this week and last week, the main thing to really take note is that, you know, last week was beginners. And you can see I'm holding them to different standards. I'm holding them to different kind of analysis. The things that I pointed out that happened with our Kami player last week, Renee, is different than what I'm going with Ange here. So two very, very different styles of play. Actually, it was I called him Sai last week, so it was Sai who was playing Kami last week. So two very different standards because two different levels of play. And that's why I kind of like the fact that this one is more intermediate play, because I'm able to talk about these different kind of concepts and different kind of ideas here this week instead of last week. But in any case, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, it is going to be, someone asks me, where is James? Ange is in the chat. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, he sent it to me. So if you donate to our Patreon, I will contact you via Patreon and give you instructions. You can put them on YouTube if you want to send them to me as a downloadable video, etc. I give you the option for anonymity, etc., etc. So we'll be right back, and I will analyze the last match when I come back. Be right back, guys.